Hey folks, Andrew Ferguson here, and in today's video, I'm going to explain to you the impending birth of a new world reserve currency, something that will undoubtedly reshape the current economic system that we live in here today and have major effects on things like real estate prices, inflation, the stock market, crypto, and more. And you know what also has a major effect on this channel? You, especially when you watch my videos and then hit the like and subscribe buttons. I seriously appreciate the support, and doing that helps me grow my channel and allows me to make even more videos for you guys. So keep on doing that, keep her going. Getting right into things. Yes, there are rumblings of a new world reserve currency, one that could replace the almighty US dollar from its top perch and based on the system that we have today. So it's time for a quick history lesson, and I promise I'm not trying to bore you here.
Bueller.
But all jokes aside, it is really important that we understand the way the system used to work compared to how it works today. That way, you understand where we've come from and where we're going. So, the world monetary system used to be backed by gold, which was created as part of the Bretton Woods Agreement way back in 1944. Okay. At this time, other countries would then buy US dollars and they could then exchange them for gold, which the US was holding in reserve in the United States, making the US dollar at that time the world reserve currency. But during the Vietnam War, the United States started flooding the market with paper money, just printing money, devaluing its worth. So other countries holding US dollars began to see this and say, oh, we're going to trade that in for gold. Current US president at that time, Richard Nixon, realized that this was happening and that the demand for gold was actually too much from other nations and delinked the US dollar from gold at that time, meaning countries would no longer have access to US held gold, effectively creating the official US dollar backed system that we have today. Fast forward to 2022, and we're actually experiencing some of the negative effects of this dollar-backed system, thanks in large part to the money printing that slowly started in 2008 and then went bonkers in 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic. When the US prints more dollars into existence, they pull that lever, it devalues all the other US dollars currently in the system, including the US dollars held by other countries. This has also led to an inflation of goods and services around the world because of what's known as globalization. Now, globalization is basically just where businesses or other organizations develop international influence and start operating on an international scale, which for the purpose of this video means that countries import and export with each other, trading resources they wouldn't be able to access otherwise. Up in Canada, where I'm from, we're not going to be growing any bananas because of our climate.
Go, delivery guy, go.
So we decide to import them from other countries and we ship things out like wood and oil. And the same thing happens in the US, Russia, France, China, and everywhere around the world. Globalization has allowed the world to become connected and grow, which is a really good thing, but it has also led to some problems, like the ones we've seen recently with supply chain issues when Mother Russia decided to invade Ukraine. When imports and exports can't move freely, you start to see shortages. And when the demand for a commodity like wheat, for example, goes through the roof, well, if demand goes up and supply is not there, the price goes up as well. If Ukraine could ship regular amounts of wheat, the rest of the EU wouldn't be paying through the roof currently for that commodity. Germany has also been greatly affected by these same supply chain issues of Ukraine stemming from the war and the global sanctions enforced on Russia. Manufacturing production in Germany has been greatly reduced because they're not able to import natural gas from Russia because of sanctions, and this has spilled over into other countries as well. So although globalization is good for expansion and growth, the dependency on other nations can also act as a negative in other ways. But what the money printing in 2020 and subsequent effects have shown us is that having a US-backed dollar system can create problems when all it takes is the push of a button to print more money into existence. And other countries have felt this and are realizing this problem as well. There are cracks forming in the United States' position as top dog in the global economic landscape.
Raise isn't real. Money isn't real ever since we got off the gold standard.
It's actually projected by Bloomberg and other economists that China will have the world's largest economy thanks to their population and economic drive by 2050, replacing the US. And with this in mind, they have a vision of creating a new world reserve currency as well. Currently, the US has a stranglehold on top spot as the world's reserve currency, as we've talked about, with the euro sitting in second place. But the margins are slowly fading, as you can see. And the reality is that some form of new reserve currency could rise up and challenge the almighty US dollar. Russia and China are actually hoping to be the ones to do it, along with the other BRICS nations, Brazil, India, and South Africa. It's like a smaller version of the G7. After seeing the swift monetary sanctions imposed upon Russia for their actions in Ukraine by Western nations, Russia and China are taking action on their own hands and working to create an alternative global reserve currency. hoping that would not only attract its other BRICS members, but also other countries within its range of influence. Now, it's so incredibly hard to say whether this joint venture between Russia and China will actually happen, when it will happen, or if it's the front runner to replace the US dollar as the world reserve currency. There's also this little thing called Bitcoin, maybe you've heard of it, that's lurking in the shadows, which offers a decentralized alternative that is vastly different from the economic system we currently use. But what I do think is that humanity is moving away from this centralized authority figure, and the faith in central banks is at an all-time low. People want a currency they can trust, and everyone should have access to a currency that doesn't lose value over time. You should be able to go to work, put in that work for the day, and be paid in a currency that stays on pace with inflation and gives you the ability to protect and provide for your family now and in the future. And I believe that if that's not the currency that we're using today, and all signs pointing that it's not, I think a shakeup is necessary. However, if a new world reserve currency does make a run at the US dollar, you better believe that a heavyweight fight will ensue. As the old saying goes, old habits die hard. So now, I want to know what you guys think. Will the US dollar keep the top spot as the global reserve currency, or do you think something else will replace it? Let me know in the comment section down below. I look forward to hearing from you. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, smash the subscribe and like buttons if you got some value here today, and I will see you on the next one.